Hi everyone, this is Killshot from 99 Gaming. This is Fear the Walking Dead Season 5, Episode 4, Extended Review. We had a really good time with reactions last night. We're going to follow that up with a more extensive recap tonight. Got some good theories, some good Easter eggs that have been further analyzed before we get started. Want to give a special shout out to the Patreon Army. You see them up on the screen. Thank you for everything that you guys do. Actually, I just posted a survey for the Patreon Army. If you guys get a chance, get over and check that out. If you're interested in becoming a patron, there is a link down below. Thank you for everything that you guys do. You guys ready to get into some Fear the Walking Dead because it was a good one. Last night, we did a little bit of the rating system, and there were a lot of high scores. There were a lot of 9s, a lot of 10s. People loved the episode, and upon further review, it got a little bit better. A little bit better. And I know you guys have seen some of the thoughts and some of the theories making their waves, and I'm going to talk about a couple of them. So I got a question, first and foremost. If The Walking Dead used a prop of, say, a cult python, then which character would you naturally correlate the cult python to? Just, if somebody found that randomly and picked it up and you saw it, well, then what's the first reaction that you guys are going to have? Who does that gun belong to? Then you naturally think it's going to be Rick. If you find a crossbow, then and that is an obvious prop that someone picks up and you see a crossbow, then which character are you automatically going to correlate that with? And there were some things last night that were beyond obvious. So when Daniel holds up a cigar, people, just not a random act, then who has Daniel had some interaction with? And this just gets me like really, really excited. So if you don't know where I'm going with that, Abraham, absolutely, there's a connection there. So people are like, yeah, okay, I got it. Now, those comic fans that are out there, just a little bit extra. Where was Rosita from? Anybody remember? Which city Rosita, Eugene, and Abraham in the comic book? Some people are going to type the state. I already know. Nope, not. Texas is not a city. Dallas. Rosita was from Dallas. So, there you go. I mean, think about that. You got all these people in the same area. Rosita, Eugene, Abraham. In the comic book, there was an issue with Abraham's family, and he basically just went ballistic with some things that happened with his wife and his daughter. And this is where Eugene sort of got to him and said, hey, let's take a trip to D.C. So on the TV show, it is likely, I mean, the cigar was a nice touch. And keep in mind, we haven't went through that 7-year time skip. So it was just not that long ago that Abraham was killed. Certainly 3 years ago, he probably gave him the cigar. Probably needs a humidor, but he can still smoke the cigar, I guess. It'll hold. Thing's going to burn a little bit sideways or burn a little bit awkwardly, but you kind of get the point. Now, I'm going to throw this out there as a bold prediction. I don't know it to be true, but just something I've been brainstorming a little bit. Does it seem a little bit odd that Dwight has ended up all the way down in Texas? That these breadcrumbs from Sherry just keep leading Dwight further and further and further along. Like, right, these clues. Had to start out in Virginia, and then we got clues in Atlanta, and just all along the way. So where's the last place that we think Sherry might have been in the vicinity of? They gave a little bit of a teaser clue, and, a couple weeks ago we thought, oh my God, Sherry could be dead? The campground, right? That's where we got a little bit of the teaser. So, if we know Sherry possibly to be at the burnt campground, and we don't think she's dead, I know this would be a super bold prediction, and I know it's not going to be very popular. Is it possible that Sherry might be in the black suit? Is it at least remotely possible that Sherry is with this group? We don't know all the details. We don't know that they're necessarily killing people or they're doing that, but people said, look, it's a woman. She's out there killing. We know there's a Dwight connection, so why can it not be Dwight looking for Sherry, and Sherry is in with this group to keep herself alive? Maybe that's how she got through it. Or held by the group. But in some regard, it is very conceivable that Sherry is around the area. And I don't think she's dead. And I don't think she's hiding out with the children. So I think this group that has Althea, that has Heath, that's taken Rick, that has Jadis as a part of it, possibility. And we will get a Sherry answer. But I feel like there's a connection there. All right, so this is not going to be totally bold predictions, but certainly want to get some of your thoughts included in the video. We're going to go through a little bit of a recap and some things that we really liked about last night's episode. So I enjoyed Daniel being kind of all-knowing and one step ahead. There were like at least two different things that Daniel did that kind of cracked me up. The Channel 8, and I already said no, I think was perfectly done. And he kind of, when he put the gun into the truck, he looked over there and thinking, oh my God, Charlie's busted. But then for him just to kind of get in and casually drive away, it's like, where are you taking me? Well, I'm saving you. I'm saving you from Strand, because he gets a lot of people in trouble. So I thoroughly enjoyed Daniel being a step ahead. Charlie asking the deep questions to Daniel and then talking about music. Chris, that connection is not going to be something that goes away. And even when she said, can I go with you, or do you need some help? Then you could see that they were planning a future story. Grimes on the radio, I don't get it. I've seen that, but I don't get the A is for after and the B is for bitten. After just has such a broad scope that it can mean something and it can mean nothing. It can mean a whole lot of things. And A is for alpha, B is for beta. And that whole A is for after, B is for bitten, just the way she said it to Father G, it just doesn't make sense. And Wilson, the way she said that to Father G really doesn't make any sense. So it has to be something in the context of personality. Because if you look at Rick, Negan, and Father G, they all had distinct personality types. Kelly says A is for alligator, B is for bear. You like when Sarah said, get that bear in the air twice? Nah, baptized by Jesus. I don't think it has anything to do with blood type. She never checked his blood. When she looked down at Father G and she's telling him, like, I thought you were this type, but you're really this type. There wasn't like a testing vial or anything there to get that. It was based on how he was reacting to her. Whether it was a strength or a weakness. And I mean, you guys understand, it doesn't have to be an abbreviation. Can we get rid of this asshat killer hacks? Dude, you're not even remotely funny. You need to be in another stream. Go join your buddy at the BVB Army. I can only deal with so many stupid comments in one stream. I tolerated your first 3, but after the first 3, you cut off. Yeah, I think it was Jadis's makeshift version of a personality test. And I mean, she's probably seen enough of what they were looking for. She's seen enough of, and I'm sure they've given her some feedback. Where, she traded a few people and she's got to observe them a little bit. She finds out a little bit. Maybe locked them in, exposed them to Winslow so she can really see what their personality's like. Will the Bill, super chatting, says, the asshats need to go down the hall 7 miles to the left. So, doesn't it... I guess here's my question. All right? You take a person and you leave them in their boxers and then you bring them out and you're like, hey, you're going to fight this walker with spikes in his head. And if you fall down and start crying like a baby and begging for your life, then you're probably a certain type of personality. If you say, whatever, I'm going to fight this walker and I will kill Winslow, then you're probably a different type of personality. So I think that was her Myers-Briggs assessment, is how do you react when you see something that potentially will kill you? With Heath, I don't know. I think that's a fair question. What type of personality was Heath? But I don't think Heath could have been taken by Jadis's people and then given away. I don't think so because of the key card. I think they just took him directly. But let's put this into perspective too. That's a good point. Great point, Marvelous One. Jadis did have Heath's RV, so then it is likely that she made that assessment. But that does kind of, that's a great point. But that still could have been the meeting place because the key card, right? The key card had to be related to these people somehow. So we got now the tricky part of this is how far away they were. So they were what, like a 4-hour drive? I mean, they were out there. They were like down in Ocean City or something. So there certainly could be, I mean, if we analyze it to that degree, that seems like a plot. Well, yeah, that makes a little bit more sense to me, Crystal. Jadis would have had to get in the helicopter, fly with them, and then drive Heath's RV back. So I'm cool with that. Or I didn't really analyze the tracks. There were some tracks there too. June Smith super chatting and says, remembering Jadis had Rick locked up in the junkyard, the container was marked with a B. Something to ponder. I thought it was an A too. I mean, if we really want to break it down to what A could mean, and I don't think I've ever heard this theory, but if you wanted it to mean something, what word starts with A and is a behavior shared by Negan and Rick? Aggressive. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm looking for, Jason. We think alpha male, they're both aggressive. And Rick was adorable. That is good. That is good. No, aggressive. And we haven't really talked about that. But they both had very aggressive behaviors. And maybe they wanted aggressive people. Now, I'm sure if we think long enough, we could probably come up with another word that means less aggressive that starts with a B. I haven't went through my thesaurus lately, but I'm sure we could come up with something. Benevolent? Too many letters? Boring? Yeah, I'm going to go with benevolent. I'm going to say A is for aggressive, B is for benevolent. Kind, kindly, kind-hearted, warm-hearted, tender-heartedly, big-hearted, good-natured, tolerant, benign, compassionate, caring, sympathetic, considerate, thoughtful, well-meaning, obliging. All of those things, right? All right, I guess you're from the South. You could probably start with the B, and you could say the B stands for B, and the A stands for ain't a B. Sorry. If you're from the South, I'm sorry. I'm from the South. I can do it. So you're either B or you ain't a B. Basic. Aggressive or basic. All right, yeah, there's a lot of words. Broken. Yeah, Walking Dead nerd, I think that's... The A's to me, though, just symbolize you're a fighter. And I think if you're incapacitated, whether you're broken one way or another, or whether you're benevolent, or whether you're... I think that's the deal. Oh, come on, fake news. You're going to make me blush. All right. If you guys all agree with fake news everywhere, Kills is indeed a marvelous podcaster, but I'm sure he hears that all the time. Do me a favor. Give this video a thumbs up, because I have to read a comment like that. I can't let that go unnoticed. No, thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right. So I want to dig down. I want to give away our first Kills coin of the week. We got Kel here, keeping the ledger. So I want you to give me something that was really good about last night that was not obvious. And I'm going to pick one person. Give me the best part of last night that might have gone unnoticed by a lot of people. Could be a relationship, could be a moral, could be a theory, could be something. If you give me the obvious stuff, that's not going to get you the Kills coin. All right. I'm thinking of something. That, Kel, was very good, and that is one of them. So, Morgan talking about his family, and Kel got part of it. The cigar reference, I think, was a little bit obvious. But how many people did notice that he talked about his wife as if she was dead, and he talked about Dwayne and said, he is. He did not say he was Dwayne. All right. So that's one. There's a couple other things that I'm looking for that a few people had messaged me. All right. One of them, and this might not have been a big deal, but it doesn't happen very often. I didn't see anybody type it yet, and I'm just looking for little corny things. Did anybody see the walker that Morgan killed? And to get the walker's attention, he said, hey. And the walker turned around. I thought him having just a normal conversation with the walker was a little strange. Hey. And the walker turns around, and then boom. So that happened last night. And, I mean, it doesn't happen often. How about the fact, and Eddie Pizzle messaged this a little bit early. How about the fact that you've got all those kids in the woods with automatic weapons, and they don't come out until it's Morgan and Alicia, but when Max and Annie were in trouble, they didn't come to help, but they were right there. I mean, could they not have just jumped out and gunned everything in the street down? And the person in the black suit? Just waited for the opportune moment. Self-preservation. Okay, that works. Yeah, I'm trying to process Daniel and the Walker herd. Like his strategy to that, but I understand. It was a bridge to get to the next part. I mean, all those things had to happen. Now, me personally, I probably would have did what Charlie said. I probably would have said, let's just outdrive them. But we ended up getting Daniel, leading him way, way far away, and then, we had to have that epic airplane scene, which was epic. I do have to say it was great. He was drawing him away from the warehouse, but he wasn't going to be able to kill him. So here's the way I would like to I don't want to pick it apart too much. But if we were to rewrite that scene of Charlie driving back to get the plane and Daniel walking in an opposite direction, is there perhaps another way that could have went down and a little bit more efficiently rather than having Charlie, who's not old enough to drive? I mean, ultimately it worked out because the airplane killed them all. So let's see who can come up with the best way that we could have gotten all those walkers away from the group. And then I'll give you my method. The driving age doesn't matter, but the efficiency of that scene certainly could have happened a different way. Run over him with the semi. Okay, so what would have happened if Strand would not have shown up with the airplane? What would have happened there? Daniel looked like he was getting tired, right? He looked like he didn't have any water. He doesn't have any supplies. Eventually, they were going to catch up to him. He was going to pass out. Daniel would have died, right? So is it safe to say that Daniel could have possibly died trying to save the rest of the group? Daniel would have died. Are we all in agreement? He didn't have a master plan. He didn't have some cliff he was leading them off. He was running out of steam. So he made the decision with his radio that he was going to die. So if he was going to die, that means his warehouse is worthless. His supplies are worthless. All the work he was doing, completely worthless. So, with that being the ultimate context, because Daniel walked all that way, couldn't Daniel and Charlie just drove to around the spot where they were at and had the walkers follow them and just leave the radio there? Then turn around while the walkers surround the radio, drive all the way back to the airplane, and then, because you were going to die anyway, and you were going to lose all your supplies anyway, and then get in the airplane and fly away. Just, look, just a small suggestion. It would not have been as cool as ruining the plane and killing all the walkers. But, I mean, they would still have a plane, and Daniel could have left with them. But here's why I'm glad it didn't happen that way. Because this was Fear the Walking Dead cool last night. That was the way they do things. You got to have an airplane that chops up walkers. I mean, that's just what they do. That's why it was amazing. So Steph says, can they fix the plane? Well, yeah, of course they can. The Little Prince tells them exactly how to do it. And it's going to be Lucy that fixes the plane. Yeah, and I get that, Jan Stepp. It's If they would have did what I just said, it would have been boring, and we would have given the Fear the Walking Dead like a 5. It'd have been like, okay, all they did was drive 2 miles away and leave the radio there. That's dumb. There's no action and excitement in that. It's a lot more fun to see Strand and Daniel make up and a bunch of walkers get chopped up in an airplane. That's what the show's about. I mean, really, if you think about it, all you need is, I'm thinking about like all these walker killing solutions now. All you have to do is if you want to kill all the walkers that Alpha has, you just, bend a tree branch over a cliff and just tie a radio to it, and the walkers will just walk right to it. They'll walk off. Or if you had a helicopter, you could do the same thing with a helicopter, right? If Daniel is flying the helicopter, all he's got to do is just tie that radio to like the bottom thing of the helicopter and just fly it over the top of something. I do like the bird cages, though. One thing that they have done, I think, much, much better in Fear the Walking Dead is some of the makeshift traps are really good compared to The Walking Dead. And they've learned from that. Yeah, I mean, Eugene did it. Eugene had an iPod and a remote control airplane or helicopter or whatever he used. Well, because mostly what they did on The Walking Dead is they always have to use walker bodies. But, I mean, I can ask you guys a question, right? So, if the walker bodies are always like at the gate of the sanctuary, and if walkers are attracted to noise, wouldn't you think that having 5 or 6 walkers at your gate always going like 24 hours a day, wouldn't you think there would always be a herd outside your gate? That's probably not the best deterrent of walkers, is having a walker that makes noise 24 hours a day. But that never happens. And if it did, you could strategically sorry, that's my, if you guys want to know what a dead walker sounds like, that's it. Was that like from a 1 to a 10, Emmy, how accurate was my walker voice? I don't think I've ever done a walker voice in any live streams before. E-Beach says, kills. With what we know so far, what's your bold prediction for the end of the season? The presumed end game of Season 5 for Fear the Walking Dead. So, Eric, I have thought about this. And I think it's one of 2 storylines. At some point, we got to get back to the Logan storyline. But we also have to transition, I don't know, I guess we could call them Commonwealth, but we call them the black suits. Whatever we want to call them. But they clearly are going to give us more Easter eggs. They're not afraid to segue into the movie. So I don't know if this group is going to be hanging around until the end of the season. To me, that would make more sense. So if I had to write it, I don't know that I would have went this heavy into that group. But they're kind of trapped doing it, and this is what I mean by that. Logan is a ways away, so I don't think they're going to go back to Logan and then come back to this group. So I almost feel like they have to bring closure to this group, and then Logan will end up being kind of the enemy for the second half. But in doing that, the Rick Grimes movie isn't as fresh on your mind, and I think that's why there's a little bit of a challenge. So I think they close the story with this group on fear and just kind of leave us thinking about, all right, that's the last clue we're going to get. And then, they'll go off and do the Rick movie as a side. And then the second half will end with something to do with Logan. And Will the Bill says, don't say it kills. And I do. I think somewhere I'm always right about this. All right, here's a bold prediction that the last couple times I've made this prediction, I've been right. Which episode do you guys think the biggest death of the season will occur in? $15. I agree. Catface Killer on the money. It's 15. Sometimes it's 8, but it won't be the finale. It's the episode before the finale. And I think Will the Bill is going to feel really good about his bet all the way up through 8, 9, 10. But then I think when we get to 15, it's very, very possible that we have the June situation. I think something's going to happen with June. And this Logan guy is going to turn out to be a little bit more evil. And I think that'll propel the Dwight, the Daniel, the Morgan, the John Dory relationship. Because 16 will be, about closure, and then they'll set it up really well for next. Will the Bill says, how dare you? No, you didn't. Will, at this point, I'm not going to back down from. I do. I feel very strongly. Some of you don't, but I feel very strongly that the John and June relationship is going to end this season. But I don't think it's going to be right away. I think there's just a whole lot more development that they want to add to it. So, my question. If it's not John or June, who dies? Do we see a Walking Dead situation where there's not a big death? Lucy could die. I won't say that's not a possibility. But she's been close. She's been close a couple times. I feel like she's kind of safe now. The one thing that I'll say up to this point, Walking Dead kind of refreshes us and keeps us very interested with the shock value of deaths. And right now, I don't think they need that. I think with the shock value that we have is Dwight crossing over and Daniel coming back and Rick Grimes clues and a villain that's out there that we haven't really seen what the villain's capabilities are. So once the other stories start to run their course, we get a little bit more comfortable seeing Dwight. He's going to be a mainstay. Daniel, I think, has an agenda, but then he comes back. I think he'll be a mainstay. The Rick Grimes will be set up. Then the natural thing to happen in the second half is they got to make this guy more evil. And if they're going to make him more evil, he's got to kill somebody. I mean, if you want more shock value, and even more shock, I wish they would bring Christine Evangelista back. I mean, I would love to see Sherry be a mainstay on Fear the Walking Dead. But you know what The Walking Dead really, really needs? Sherry as a villain. That would get my interest. After all the stuff that Sherry went through, wouldn't it be cool if she got completely twisted? And that's the only way she's been able to survive. I would love to see Sherry as a villain. Why not? Why not, Chris? Why can't we have Sherry as a villain? That'd be a nice shocker for Dwight. Dwight's been making all that trip to try to find her, and then she's trying to recruit Dwight to the dark side. She goes full Negan. That's the way I would write it. Sheila Beasley loved June Gate. Sheila, why am I reading this? June lives. June ain't going to live. June's gone. Gone. Thank you for that, though. At least you got the grimace. You got the grimace right. Will the Bill. There'll be a few kids we grow to love and that the characters grow to love. We already feel a little sorry for them now. Nah, I don't know. Will, if any of those 3 kids died, I wouldn't feel sorry for them. You know what those 3 kids are to me? They're Jesse's kids. You guys remember? You remember Jesse's little annoying kids? Sam and Ron. Well, they're Sam and Ron, right? June Smith, bold prediction. Travis returns. Travis is dead. Travis is gone. Fell out of a helicopter. He didn't make it. So, now, I do have to say, they're only a couple episodes from being cute little kids. Right now, they could die and I'm okay with it. But, little Dylan and his rubber band glasses. Yeah, I mean, I could have a soft spot for this little innocent kid is trying to do the right thing, which is why I think he needs to die now. They need to just get rid of him before I start liking him. But no, you know what they're going to do. Will, you're right. They're going to have more of these scenes between Lucy and Dylan and all this bonding and everything. And if one of them dies, then we're going to miss him. Will the Bill, we have a lot of episodes for them to grow on us. It's a good point. And Grimes on radio says, Kill Streams and Hine 57. Nice and smooth. I like that. So let me kind of target, Will the Bill brought up a great point. So do you guys agree with Will the Bill that they could have these kids grow on us and we could become really attached to them, and then if something happened to them, then we would have like that maximum, we would miss them quite a bit? Do you guys agree with that? And now I'm going to get to Princess Pie's super chat in 1 second. I mean, that seems like good writing, right? They kind of suck you in and you get close to them, and then they take it away from you. Thank you, Will the Bill, because that's exactly what is happening with John and June. It exactly can happen. And thanks to everybody for making that point, which is exactly why we're getting closer and closer to John and June and June and John and kissing and hugging and those moments. And, she was massaging the back of his neck, like really obviously, during that whole scene. They really, zoomed in on that to show you the connection. I think you made a great point. All right, I got a couple more super chats in here. We got Princess Pie went super, she got me seeing red. Red mode. All right, everybody. Epic, big super chat. Let's zone in on this. The cutest moments of last night's episode. The pilot in the book crashes his plane in the desert. How did he get out? He fixed his plane, put it back together, and flew away. So why don't you do that? He can do it, so can you. Never give up, Army. The solution is in your hands. I agree. Princess Pie, I agree with what you're saying. And Lucy might have resources or access, and maybe she's got some mechanical knowledge, and maybe they figure out how to hook this propeller up. But the only thing that I would say to each of you, I got a question. Okay. And Princess Pie, you bring up a great point. It was a cute moment, and it shows how naive that Dylan is. If I need, hang on, I got a couple more super chats, and then I'm going to ask for some volunteers. We got E Beach. Says those kids are going to die. Logan kills them. Oh, you're picking like a Daryl and Michonne moment. Logan won't be as evil as Daryl and Michonne killing a bunch of innocent well, those kids weren't innocent. All right, bad example. We got another super chat. Catface Killer. Bold prediction. Only A's can repopulate the world. How would they know that, though? Jadis never got a chance to lay with any of them except Father G. Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't think she was taking samples. All right. I need 4 volunteers. And it'll just be the first 4 people. Dark Star. It's simple. You don't win anything. Jennifer Flaherty. Grimes on the radio. And Crystal. Okay. All right, so me, Dark Star, Jennifer Flaherty, Grimes on the radio, and Crystal. Plane breaks. And I have a book called The Little Prince that tells me to go fix the plane. I don't know anything about planes, but I'm more than willing to try to fix it. And everybody can answer, specifically the 4 people. How many people want to get on that plane with me after I fix it not being a mechanic that can fix planes? Just a real quick show of hands. So there's 2 or 3 really... All right, nobody. It's not the same as a car. Now, to Princess Pie's point, the book is meant to show hope. Dylan is meant to show innocence. And Lucy is meant to be motivated and inspired by a child. All of those things are certainly their lessons and they're important. But if she fixes that plane and any of these suckers get on that plane, it may get there, it may fly. But I don't think I would do it. They've already crashed once. Let's not take a chance. And then the other question is, how far did they fly? I mean, I don't think they flew, it was like an intercontinental trip. Can we just not take one of Daniel's vehicles, pack it up with some of his supplies, and just get in the car and drive and go? Why do we need a plane? I got to imagine it can't be more than a 4 or 5 hour drive. This is not a 747. This is a small plane. Well, Alan, I beg to differ. Alan Arthur says it's faster. They've been there for like 3 days. It ain't faster. They could have just made an executive decision right from the start and said, you know what? If we drive now, we will be back in 4 hours. 5 hours tops. But now they had to stay overnight. They got a whole lot of stuff going on. Bird's eye view. Okay, fair enough. It crashed. That is a great question. Chris Rainig wants to know, would the Army really want to be on a plane with me singing for hours? I'll ask that question. I see the answer is yes. And Chris Rainig, I would probably say, I'm leaving on a jet plane. Don't know if I'll be back again. That was just for you. Any other songs about planes that you guys would like to hear? I think for random things, we should come up with a list about flying or rockets or airplanes just for Chris tomorrow night. You guys think that would be a good topic? Well, we went double red tonight. Let me say this. We have not went double red super chats since Mel the Vulture was in the house. So we got Princess Pie and Will the Bill going super red mode tonight. All right, I'm going to read it. I'm always a little afraid when Will goes big here. I second that. Awesome scene, Army. Never give up. June and John live. I'd sing with you all the way to the crash site. All right. That was kind of like, you guys know what a backhanded compliment is. So Will the Bill he did the super chat, but then he kind of threw in the June and John and never give up because they're going to live, but then said, but I'd still sing with you. So I got to think about that. That might not even be a backhanded compliment. That might be like a triple whammy. I think that's what we'll call that. Ground control to Major Tom. Take your protein pills and put your helmet on. Ooh! Highway to the danger zone. Yeah, danger zone. There's another one, right? Kenny Loggins. Oh, you know what? Kel, maybe you can put a... Kel, can you put a poll on the Facebook fan page? Favorite songs about flying, airplanes, anything to do with air. Learn to fly. Oh, boy. Yeah, this is all for Chris Reinig. I believe I can fly. Oh, yeah. Oh, it can be about birds. It can be about planes. It can be about rockets, whatever. I can't stand to fly. I'm not that naive. Men weren't meant to fly with clouds between their knees. I'm more than a bird. I'm more than a plane. Yeah, there we go. Oh, man, so many good songs. Fly like an eagle to the sea. Oh, man, you got this party started tonight, Chris Reinig. We're at 1 hour. Although there are a lot of these songs that I have no idea what they are. I just want to fly. Put your arms around me, baby. Put your arms around me, sugar. I love it. Sugar Ray, man, so you awoke the giant tonight, Chris Reinig. But you get the idea. Freebird. Oh, man. We went like Freestyle Friday in a hurry. But, once again, the moral of the story is strong. As Princess Pie said, as Will the Bill said, it's a lesson about not giving up. And had they done all those silly things that I suggested, which are logical, drive out, leave the radio, go back, we don't get the airplane scene. Or if the plane doesn't crash or we don't have issues with the plane, then we can't draw the parallel between The Little Prince and how Fear the Walking Dead really is about. It is about hope. I don't disagree. And see, I'm not trying to go against the grain here because I know Will the Bill and myself do have a bet. June and John do symbolize hope. Their relationship does symbolize hope, as many of you have pointed out. But what is The Walking Dead known for? It's known for giving you hope and showing you how dark and evil the world is, and then building your hope back up. It's this never-ending cycle of relationships and growing and surviving and adversity. And I'll throw the question out to the group again. It is about, right, Laura Brown? It's about stealing your hope or killing your hope. Angel says she has a bad feeling it's going to be John instead of June. And it could be, Angel. And that would be a shocker. Never take things for granted. This, this week with John and June going to try to help Dwight, did anybody feel it was a little bit odd that the three of them are out there looking by themselves? I'm gonna set this one up really, really nicely. And I'm not trying to crush anybody's dreams. But there's some things that happen on The Walking Dead that scare you a little bit from time to time. Okay. The writers had to write it in a way. These three people went out. It wasn't Dwight and Morgan and Alicia. It wasn't Dwight and Lucy and Charlie. It wasn't Dwight and Strand. It was Dwight, June, and John. Three people in particular. How many people think that because they sent three people out on a solo mission to find Sherry, that there's a possibility that one of those three people might not make it back alive? How many people could see one of those three not getting back to the group? They didn't take 8 people. They weren't the group of people that were ready to storm in and see the walkers. They're on a different quest. It's possible, right, Tommy? Now, it gets easy. Thank you, Sheila Beasley. Now, of those 3 people, if there is a possibility that one does not come back alive because they're on a different dangerous mission, and there's not a lot of them to help out each other. There's only 3. What are the odds that it's Dwight that just crossed over? Maybe 0? It ain't going to be Dwight. So, certainly narrows it down a little bit. Not Dwight, for sure. So then we go back to this John and June dilemma. Jason, you got a good point. Where a lot of us are saying June. Is it possible? Jason, Mixologist Daily, just said, John had his San Antonio split moment. And John also found peace and closure and acceptance in the relationship. Just now, I don't know that bodes any better for one than the other, but it certainly, it certainly screams out that there's a chance that one of them could be in danger. We got another super chat. We got Ben Stevenson. Dwight and Dory bond when June dies. And Ben, I agree with you. But the funny thing about making these predictions so early is because usually we're the first to kind of jump out of the gates and make this prediction. If it does happen, and I'm still saying if, I'm not going to say when yet, William. If it does, because we've analyzed it and funneled it and talked about it, it doesn't seem as shocking. So, it could, in fact, become second nature to us, and we could be mostly desensitized to it. And Gina, John dying, protecting June. I mean, I don't think that June and Dwight have the same synergy. But they can write it in. Anything is possible. With all that being said, we'll get into our bold predictions later on in the week. That'll be Wednesday night. So, hey, we've hit an hour and 10 minutes, so a little bit longer stream than normal with the extended review, but good chat around the ties, the connections, the Easter eggs, the predictions. We did start to, jump into next week's episode a little bit more. Tomorrow night, we're going to be doing random things. If you guys have not joined in for a random thing, hang out with us. We will have a Walking Dead topic. We will have other topics that are out there. Some will be music. Some will be a little bit of Kills Connections. Some will be Rhyme Time. We mix it up. We do a lot of different things. So if you haven't participated in one or listened to playback, just hang out. I think you'll have a good time. Wednesday night, we're going to be back with our bold predictions. We like to do those before we get to Friday nights, because you guys know how Friday night is when some people are watching it. We'll also do a stream on Thursday night. It's going to be the Walking Dead Universe. I may flip-flop those two. We could do the Walking Dead Universe Wednesday, bold predictions Thursday. Hold tight. We'll make an announcement on that. And, of course, Freestyle Friday, we will be one of our favorite episodes. We have a lot of fun with Freestyle Friday, and we'll give away a few more Kills coins as well. So, Will the Bill, all three survived. Their story will be in the background, save for next season. And Will says, I'll buy all the drinks. Wait. Will, was that all the drinks if I lose, or is that all the drinks at Comic-Con? Oh, we're going to have to get a further detail from Will the Bill. I don't want to put him on the spot just yet. But I think he's trying to recruit some fans. That almost seemed like, hey, let me say that all of them will live, and then if they do live, are you recruiting, Will? All right. To be continued tomorrow night, everybody. We'll analyze if Will just went covert mission and tried to get a few more people to buy into the June John lives theory. So hold tight, everybody. We'll talk about that tomorrow night. Thanks. Appreciate everybody being here. A lot of streams, a lot of activity. I get it if you can't make them all, but try to make the ones you can. It's summertime. There's family events going on. But we love having each and every one of you here. Thanks for everything that you guys do. Give this video a thumbs up. Once again, a shout out to all the patrons in top left-hand corner. Also, my green team. You guys can see those. The 6-month green team up there as well. And they get the cool emojis. We will be switching up our emoji. Everybody do me a favor. Just a real quick shout out for Mitch Puddin, our super fan of the month. Can we get some Puddin pops up on the screen? That would be awesome, just to show a little bit of love and support. And once again, once we get to July, we'll have a brand new super fan. So there'll be a brand new custom emoji. And if we get another, I think we still got to get 5 or 6 emojis in order to get that 75 unlocked. We go back and forth, from 70 to 71 to 70. So I think we're going to make a rush once we get to Walking Dead season and get an extra 5 people on the green team. And one more shout out to the 999 Army. That's each and every one of you. You guys do me a favor. Give me a whole lot of 999s so I can shout out as many people as I can in the next 60 seconds. I'm already 13 minutes over our stream time, but I do want to get some shout outs and just say thank you to everything that you guys do. So we'll start it out with Alan Arthur, thanks. Rhonda DeLuca, Samantha Coombs, thanks for being here. Daryl Stoltz, Walking Dead Nerd, The Marvelous One, Coma Drug, Angel Calores, Karen Reef, Viola McGowan, Princess Pie, Lynn Nesvik, Paparazzi, See You, Joey the Gator, Dark Star, Kimberly G, Maria Favada, if I called you that's twice, Benjamin Stevenson, Joyce Andrews, Tammy Hill, Diana Hammond, Tracy Bledsoe, Jason Mixologist Daily, Crystal Newfield, Rebecca Mendez, Jennifer Flaherty, Grayland 28, Jan Stepp, Heart of Nixie, Rife, like knife. I got to remember that. Karen Rife. I need something to change her name so I can remember it. I'll come up with something. Chris Rainick, Sheila Beasley, Ray Beard, Ocean Man. I didn't see Rolex tonight, but I did see D-Train was in the house. Thanks for you guys being here. The moderators, Emmy, Steph, Tommy, Kell, always do a phenomenal job. Special shout out to them. Wilson, thank you. Appreciate that. Grimes on the radio, always a pleasure, my man. Appreciate you being here. We get a few more shout outs. That's 60 seconds. So if I missed you in a shout out, then be here tomorrow night and we'll make up for it. And we'll get a couple more Kills coins out there tomorrow night. We didn't give away a lot of Kills coins tonight, but I think we typically give away the most Kills coins on Tuesday night because we have a lot of contests, a lot of events. So thanks, everybody, and I will see you tomorrow night at 9:30. Have a good night. Peace.